Hello friends, today we are going to talk about carbon dioxide transport in blood. So like and share and subscribe if you like this video. Let's begin. Carbon dioxide is produced mainly during aerobic cellular metabolism of glucose, that is aerobic glycolysis of glucose, and during conversion of carbohydrate to fat. Now this carbon dioxide has to be transported to lung to excrete or to exhale it out. This carbon dioxide is transported in three ways: dissolved form, bicarbonate form, and number 3 is carbamino compounds. So let's begin with dissolved form. The amount of CO2 dissolved in plasma is proportional to the partial pressure. The solubility coefficient of CO2 is 20 times that of oxygen. It means that solubility of carbon dioxide is 20 times more than the oxygen. Now the important thing is that carbonic anhydrase enzyme is absent in blood, that is plasma. It means that carbonic acid formation is very less or negligible in plasma. That is what we have to remember. Okay. Now the second and the most commonly used pathway is the bicarbonate ions, which is 70% of CO2 is transported in the form of bicarbonate ions. Now what is the mechanism behind this? Is that carbon dioxide, when formed in tissue, diffuses out and goes into the blood plasma. Now we know that blood plasma is full of RBCs, which are present abundant. So the carbon dioxide diffuses in the red blood cell. Now red blood cell is full of carbonic anhydrase enzyme and water. So carbon dioxide that diffused in reacts with water and carbonic anhydrase is present in abundance, so we get carbonic acid. Now carbonic acid spontaneously divides into H plus and HCO3 minus. Now HCO3 minus diffuses out of the RBC and goes into the blood plasma. Okay, now as the negative ion has moved out, there should be balance of charges, and hence chlorine moves in, and this is known as chloride shift. Now chloride shift is also known as hamburger shift, because hamburger has first described it, so it is also known as hamburger shift. Now what happens to this H plus? This H plus reacts with HbO2 minus. Now HbO2 minus gives O2 and HHB. Now this is an important reaction because H plus, in presence of H plus, O2 has decreased affinity for hemoglobin and thus it dissociates from hemoglobin, and this is very important for dissociation, and this helps in unloading of oxygen. So this is known as Bohr effect, that increased in H plus or increase in pH indirectly we can say, right? Because H plus as increases, pH also increases. So increased in H plus or pH decreases the affinity of O2 for hemoglobin, and thus O2 diffuses out from the RBC and goes into the tissue, and HHB is formed. Now the last way of transport is through RBC. Carbon dioxide and red cells also reacts with free amine groups of hemoglobin to form carbaminohaemoglobin. As you can see here, it reacts with amine group of hemoglobin to form carbaminohaemoglobin, and 23% of carbon dioxide is transported in this form. So let's revise. The first way of transport is dissolved form, which is only 7% dissolved in the plasma, right, blood. Second is in the form of HCO3 minus and H plus. Let's revise. CO2 diffuses in, large amount of carbonic anhydrase is present in the blood. This forms carbonic acid. which spontaneously divides into H plus and HCO3 minus. HCO3 minus diffuses out from RBC into the blood and Cl minus diffuses in. This is known as chloride shift or hamburger shift. Chloride, the accumulation of chloride in RBC increases the RBC cell size considerably. H plus reacts with HbO2 minus, releasing O2 from Hb. O2 diffuses in the tissue and HHB is formed. Now, exactly opposite reaction occurs in lung. HCO3 minus and H plus combine to form H2CO3, which dissociates into CO2 and H2O, where CO2 is exhaled out of lung and H2O is returned in the plasma. The third and the last way for transport of CO2 is with amino group of hemoglobin to form carbaminohaemoglobin, which is Hb and HCOOH, which is 23%.